Hello everyone, how's it going? It's munclesonkey, and I was just thinking to myself, it has been a long time since I've made just a nice skilling vlog. Lately I've been focusing on series and guides, mostly the road to Maxcape. I've been skilling really hard for that, getting lots of levels and a couple 99s. I got 3 99s within a space of 7 days, which I think is a personal record for me. But anyways, I thought it has been just so long since I've made just somewhat of a vlog, and really just talked about some Runescape topics that were on my mind, and so I thought maybe for the next couple days I could just make a couple little vlogs. So at the moment what I'm doing here is Big Chinchompa. I really have not done Big Chinchompa very much at all lately, which is a huge fail. I really should be doing that more often. It's very good XP, and honestly I tried doing some Draconic Judenkos earlier today, and I just can't stand doing them for very long because they're really click intensive and really boring and not fun at all. I can go there for an hour, sometimes two, but then it just gets really tedious, and I hate all the clicking and the stress that Draconic Judenkos involve. Also, one really bad thing about hunting is, since it's so click intensive and stuff, it's really hard to chat with people, and I like being able to talk to people in my friends chat and PM people as well. That's one of the really nice aspects of this game, just the social part. And when you're doing skills such as Hunter, sorry about that, was my phone. When you're doing skills such as Hunter, it just makes talking to people a lot more difficult. So I thought I should really get back into doing Big Chinchompa since it is good XP. At my level, I get 110 XP a day, about 47k per game, roughly, and then from the reward points at the end of the game, you get 7.5 XP each game if you turn in the reward points. And unfortunately here, it's okay. I got it first try. Sometimes it takes a couple tries to get in to the Big Chinchompa game. One thing that is kind of cool for anyone that's interested in doing Big Chinchompa is actually if you go in the German worlds, you can get more XP, Hunter XP per game. I'm not doing that right now just because I guess I'm just feeling a little bit too lazy. But if you do go on the German worlds, the games will last a full 20 minutes. If you do them on the English worlds, they usually complete within 15 minutes because there's a whole bunch of people on these worlds doing Big Chinchompa, so that causes the game to end sooner than it could. If you do them on the German worlds, you'll get an extra, I believe it's between 5 and 10k XP per game, just because you can catch the butterflies for longer. So if you're really interested in maximizing your XP from Big Chinchompa, I would highly recommend doing this on a German world, or really any other foreign world. It doesn't matter that much. It does get a bit lonely in the German worlds. I've done a few games of Big Chinchompa on there, and there's like 2 or 3 people doing it. It's a bit weird just running around a big empty space mostly by yourself, but toggle sheath. I'm not sure if having the Protea flower actually wielded makes a difference, but just for I guess the benefit of the doubt, I'm going to have it out. I had it sheathed last game I played, and it didn't really seem like I caught many butterflies with the Protea flower itself, so I'm just going to try that. Anyway, the RuneScape behind the scenes new video, I think it either came out today or late last night, I'm not sure. It was in my sub box, so it was a pretty recent upload. And they were talking about the new interface update, and personally, I prefer the current interface more than the new interface, and I realize that there's probably going to be a lot of rage and stuff, because it seems like every time RuneScape installs a new interface update, a whole lot of people get really upset about it. I'm not really sure why, but it's like lately when you went to the bank and you clicked on an item, it would deposit all of that item into your inventory instead of one, so they made deposit all a left click option, and a lot of people got really upset about it, and I didn't think that was a good thing because I personally really liked that. And people they really don't like change in this game. RuneScape players hate change. Not completely sure why, but it's almost like every interface update, people rage about it at first, and they get really upset and go on the forums and beg Jagex to change it back, and then after a couple weeks, it all calms down and people get used to the new update. I remember when these stats were originally changed to their current look, because they used to look a bit dated, and the whole stat interface was all brown. I'm not really sure how to explain it, but it looked different than this, and a lot of people got really upset about that. It was a bit funny because it's just a graphical change and it doesn't really affect gameplay in any way. But I guess people don't like change, which I can understand. Having something that is always there and you know it's always going to be the same is safe in a way, but I feel like not liking any graphical changes at all to the game is not a good thing. I personally think that the new interface is actually a really good idea. As I said, I prefer the interface as it is now because it's just what I'm used to, but I'm sure that will change in time. It'll take a couple weeks probably to get used to the new interface when it does come out. However, it's good because it looks better from a gameplay standpoint on attracting new players. Also, players don't want to log into the game. The combat has completely changed and there's the action bar and stuff, but it still, for the most part, if you play in fixed screen, looks very similar to the game as it did back in 2007, and I don't think that's a good thing. One thing that a lot of people don't realize is a game needs to change and adapt to become attractive to new players. Another thing is a lot of people say the game is getting too easy because Jagex releases ways to train that are more fast and AFK for the most part. Take Runescape, for example, or the action bar being able to use with mining, where you can just drop your ores much easier. Those are just a couple examples, and that's not good for old players because they're really proud of the way that they got their 99s, the long and slow and grindy way. But it's really important for new players because, honestly, I'm not sure the exact time frame, but to get a max cape, it takes, for most people, if you're super efficient, you can get it faster than this, but for most people, it takes at least 100 days of playtime. I do realize you can get it faster than that. I believe there's been a couple people who have got max cape in like 70 days of adventures log time or something crazy like that. But for most people, it takes a very long time, and that's not taking into account all the time that it takes to make money, to train skills, and get good gear and all that sort of stuff. And for new players coming in, I have seen quite a few new players lately, players with low total, players that don't really know what's going on and ask questions, which I have patience with people like that. Just try to explain to them exactly how this game works. That's always a good thing. But it is really important for a game to change and adapt for new people to grow, and I think the new interface is just a step in the right direction in that regard. Hopefully RuneScape will start to grow and get new players again. I know there are still a lot of old players that still like the EOC. However, the main reason they brought in the EOC to the game was to attract new players, make it a bit more involved combat-wise, because for people that have been playing RuneScape for a long time, I'm sure we all liked the AFK-ness of the combat, where you don't really have to pay attention to the game. But for really nearly all other games in the world, you really do have to actually pay attention to a game and play it, not just have it tabbed out and be watching YouTube while you're doing something on RuneScape. And you still can do that with most skills, but I just think that making the game more involved combat-wise was, of course, a really good idea for new players. I guess what I'm trying to get at, even though I'm not being most efficient at it, words-wise, I'm trying to explain my point of view on a certain thing and not doing a good job of it. I'm also not doing the best job at Big Chinchompa there. I almost just checked the shaking branch even when my jar was already full. That is a fail and an XP waste. But I really want this game to grow because I personally really enjoy RuneScape, and the player base has been dwindling. I think once people really start getting bored of old school RuneScape, some of the old players will start to quit. Maybe some of them will come back to EOC, but it feels like a lot of people are getting bored of old school RuneScape because, of course, that form of the game takes a lot of patience, and not everyone has that. So I think it's really important to attract new players so this game can continue to grow. And every single thing that Jagex does recently seems like it's really been trying to update the game, not in a sense of necessarily copying other MMOs, but becoming more like the MMO format that is become standard, which includes, you know, paying attention in combat, having to use abilities, and of course a upgraded, better looking interface. Also, the new interface is like fully customizable. I think that's kind of cool. Just for example, for combat, if you don't really need your what's this inventory and prayer and stat screen clogging up a large portion of the screen, I always play in fixed screen, so there's not always a whole lot of gameplay view. As you can see, the chat bar's down here, and the world map's up here, and the inventory's up here, and it's taking up the majority of the screen. So I think it would be kind of cool for some things just to be able to clear up your game screen a bit more and be able to see more. I know for dungeoneering and for a couple other activities it's annoying because, for example, in dungeoneering when you want to check what some of the doors are that you want to open, it's kind of hard. You have to tilt the camera in ways because sometimes just the objects around the screen get in the way and there's not a very large gameplay view. And personally, I don't think having the game screen as only being, what is this, roughly half the space that I'm recording at the moment. I don't see that as necessarily a good thing. There's just way too much interface at the moment, especially in Big Chinchompa where you got your timer over here and your points, all that sort of stuff. It's like there's not really a whole lot of gameplay view, and I think the new interface will definitely improve that a lot because you're going to be able to minimize things that you don't really need. For example, the world chat bar, I don't necessarily use this in Big Chinchompa because I'm more focused on catching the butterflies, and it is a bit hard to talk to people and click and be efficient at the same time. So being able to minimize the world chat bar or the inventory even during certain activities would be really useful. So I'm seeing that as a good thing. Anyways, let me know your opinions on the new interface update, what you think about it, and just what Jagex is doing trying to make this game a little more attractive for new players in general. I don't know if it's going to work as this game is very old and sometimes people would like to move on to the newer games that are coming out instead of going back to a revamped old game, but we can hope for the best. If you guys enjoy the new interface, if you think it looks cool, if you haven't even checked it out, it's just on the Runescape's channel, their YouTube channel, their newest behind the scenes video. I personally watch all the behind the scenes video, and maybe I should talk about some of the new releases that are coming into the game pretty soon because some people would like to know others' opinions on there. But if you like the new interface, that's great. If you think that a whole bunch of people are going to rage at it and then get used to it in a couple weeks, like I suspect is going to happen, well, I don't know if that's going to happen for a fact. Maybe people will decide to become a little more understanding and just decide to take the new interface as it is and accept it and move on. I'm not sure, but judging from the past, it's probably not what is going to happen. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents on the latest game update and all, so I'm sorry I'm not the best at articulating myself. Sometimes when I get tired it is a bit hard to talk and express your thoughts in the right way, but anyways, I'm going to continue and finish up this Big Chinchompa game, obviously. Unfortunately, this is my second one of the game, so I'm not going to be able... second game of the day, so I'm not going to be able to do another. I really do wish that Jagex would make it so you could continuously do Big Chinchompa like once every hour, or possibly even twice every hour. I guess the game only goes on for once every hour. It would be a bit annoying having to stop skilling once per hour and have to come over here and do your Big Chinchompa games, but in my opinion that would be a lot better than actually hunting Draconic Judenkos. Also, the XP rate at this minigame is roughly the same as it is hunting Draconic Judenkos. You get about, I think, roughly 200k, 180k, around that per hour, doing both methods. And so it's not like if they made this game available to do once per hour, it'd be overpowered or anything. It would just be an alternative way to train Hunter. I wish there was some more alternative ways to train Hunter. I know you can do stuff like catch butterflies, but those are a lot slower than playing this minigame or hunting Judenkos. And I don't want to train one of my least favorite skills in a slower way. That's just not the way I like to go about things. I might try training on butterflies, like hunting those black warlocks once I get level 95 hunter. I think that's the level for them. I'm considering it. I might just try it out and see how it is. It's much less of a clickfest hunting butterflies than it is hunting Draconic Judenkos, and the clickfest is really the main thing that bothers me about Hunter in general, so I might try that out. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, feel free to join my friends chat and talk to me, because there have been a lot of people in there lately, and I do really appreciate that, and thank you all for joining. That's going to be all for this video. Maybe another skilling vlog coming soon within the next... later today, possibly tomorrow, something along those lines. So that is all for this video. Farewell, and yeah, talk to you later.